I literally started explaining to the ICU nurse in great detail how I would unparalyze myself, that I would be able to walk unassisted in 100 days, even though I was told it's absolutely impossible with the injury that I had, and that all these issues, all these life-threatening conditions and diseases that I've been diagnosed with, I'll have all of those resolved, and in 100 days, I'll walk unassisted, and everything will be taken care of. And that was filmed, that was documented, and that is exactly what happened. And on the 100th day, I was able to walk once again unassisted. All the signs of all these diseases chronic conditions that I was diagnosed with, not only was the paralysis gone, the issues were resolved. So there's no way to describe it, Amrit, other than a deep, deep remembering of something that you knew that you always knew, but it came back in crystalline clarity about the step by step process of putting a destroyed body back together, as well as what we would call self realization or enlightenment. That it is a metaphysical process that anyone can undergo. And if we want to just draw an analogy, it's kind of like the caterpillar destroying itself in order to become what it really is. And so self-healing and self-realization or enlightenment, which are the same thing, are intrinsically connected. And in that moment of awakening from emergency surgery, I had awakened into my true self. The vestiges of my personhood had been destroyed along with my body. So instead of dying, I still remained in my body, couldn't feel my body. My body didn't work, but I was in that state of awareness. So it came back to me. It wasn't new. It wasn't what people call a download. It wasn't like I was given this information. I knew from the get go how to heal, as I remembered as a kid. I just didn't remember the specifics. So in that moment, it all came back to me. I started explaining how to do it, and obviously I did it. And then I wrote a book on the step by step process, and of course I've helped. I had too many people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, to overcome the issues that they've had their whole life in ways that they didn't think was possible.
Can we bring into the frame in the conversation, and you can help us define these terms, the EMI and the IM? Because I think this becomes really important to sort of see which part of you came online and which part of you didn't come online anymore, or didn't not come in line, but like maybe right relationship occurred. What are these two different aspects? And then, yeah, maybe you can explain in those terms coming out of the surgery what had shifted.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the term that have been using, created, whatever, EMI stands for ego, mind, identity, and that's the character. That is the actor who performs actions. That is the character that we create through incarnation. So it is a conceptualized, belief based, body consciousness character that doesn't really understand where it comes from, doesn't understand what it is, and doesn't understand how it was created. And that's kind of how we go about our life, right? We get here. Who am I? How did I get here? What is the point? What is the purpose? All these great questions, right? So that is the culmination of all of our misperceptions, misunderstandings, and misidentifications that happen through the incarnation process. And from a purely physics perspective, the ego mind identity is the electromagnetic interference of all that we align ourselves with that is not our true signal. So the I am is what we actually are. The I am is the self with the capital S, the fractal of God that we are. It is whole and complete, and everything is birthed from the I am. Now, everything is not the I am directly, as the ego mind identity or the human character is not the I am directly, and self realization would be direct communion with your I am with no filter, with not looking through a dirty windshield of beliefs and concepts and ideologies and roles and so called knowledge. So, upon awakening from emergency life saving surgery, the delusion of the character that I was had been removed. It had gotten destroyed with along with my body. My body was destroyed. So I was in a state of liberation, in a state of cosmic consciousness. It just so happens I was still here. And so the I am is just that. We are all the I am, but when we incarnate, especially within the lower frequencies of the physical universe, we are many layers or levels or frequencies and dimensions removed from the direct communion with the I am. The I am is God itself. It is where all of our joy, all of our talent, all of our abilities, all of our passion, all of our power, all of that comes from what we directly are and is reattuning the body mind complex to that signal, to the I am, is what self realization or enlightenment is. And from that state, there is nothing that is impossible. And so, doing the impossible, whether that's putting your destroyed body back together, parting the Red Sea, it doesn't really matter what it is. From that state, you can actually do anything. So, the I am is God directly, and the ego mind identity is this false character that gets created through descending the dimensions and frequencies into a physical incarnation within the lower frequencies of the physical universe. And then this character, it becomes the interface within this realm because the body mind complex is part of and attuned to the local environment. And so the ego mind identity and the character is all the electromagnetic interference that we have attuned ourselves to: information, concepts, beliefs, roles, ideologies, so called knowledge. All of these things cloud and masquerade as the true self. So the ego mind identity is personhood, and the I am is what we are.
What role does the EMI play then? Because everybody's obviously operating from the EMI majoritarily, and some people are aware of their IM, some people completely oblivious to it. It seems to be that the EMI seems to be this all pervading, all prevailing sort of function.
Yeah, it's the mode of communication. Really, it's we communicate one another through our character. It is the interface itself. As I said, the body mind complex is part of and attuned to this environment. This is why when you die, and no one dies, but when you die, this interface stays here and you don't, right? Because this is actually the biological garment that's part of and attuned to this environment. And so we actually identify with the suit itself, right? And then we identify with what the suit produces: thoughts, emotions, sensations. And because we identify with the suit, we identify with the experiences that the body has. And so now we have created a character. Meanwhile, we exist prior to this, and we will exist after this. And so the ego mind identity, the purpose of it is to have the full, what I call the full immersion experience of physical reality, of the lower frequencies of the physical universe. So you temporarily slide into a suit that is literally attuned to and part of this environment. So what it does is it just affords a level and a depth of experience that you can't get otherwise by adorning this biological spacesuit that's literally part of and attuned to physical reality.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well, then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.